So in post, okay, yesterday we have calculated, right? So what is the jail cost of living? It is also called as measurement of poverty, or it is also called as jail cost of living, or it is also called as Dada by Nehruji poverty line. Okay, got it? In post-independent India, there have been several attempts to identify the number of poor in the country. 1962, okay, before independence, this Dadabhai Nehruji's method was used to calculate what the number of poor people in our country. In 1962, what happened? The Planning Commission was formed. Okay, what is what is the motive of Planning Commission is to find out the number of poor people in our country. In 1979, okay, again, the projection of minimum needs and effective consumption demand was formed. Okay, this is what another committee. Minimum needs, the basic needs in Solovalia, that is what projection of minimum needs. Then consumption demand was formed. Their motive also to identify what the number of poor in a country. In 1989, expert group, okay, was constituted for the same purpose. Okay, so nearly and so many in different periods. Okay, in 62 planning commission and minimum need projection of minimum need and expert group. These all groups were created for what? To only one purpose, to identify the number of poor in a country. Am I audible? Can you able to see the? Is it possible for you to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
So concept in poverty line. The poverty line is cutoff point. You can see this is what poverty line. Okay, on the cut off point on the line of distribution, which usually divides the population of the country as poor, non-poor. Okay, so the concept of poverty line is used to measure the extent of poverty in a country. People having income below poverty line is called poor. The people with income above the poverty line is called non-poor. Okay, so you can see this is the poverty line. So the below this line we call them as poor. Above this poverty line we will call them as a non-poor. And also, okay, so this line divides the water. What the it divides equally about the poor and non-poor. With this, we can also able to identify who all comes under poor and who all comes under non-poor. So how can we define this poverty line? How can we set this poverty line? Okay, இதுதான் வந்து um, poverty line. How it is possible to fix? That is a concept we are. So that's the concept we are about to discuss. So here, first one is how we can able to fix the poverty line analysis. Monthly per capita expenditure. Per capita in the sense per person, okay, per person, single person. So expenditure we know very well. So is used to determine the poverty line. According to this method, monetary value of minimum calorie intake is calculated. What is calorie? The food what we are consuming. Okay, based upon the food intake, it is possible to find out who is poor, who is non-poor. For example, a minimum calorie intake. What is minimum calorie? In the Planning Commission has defined. Okay, this is the Planning Commission in 1962, I think. The poverty line on the basis of recommended nutritional requirement of 2,400 calories per person per day for rural areas and 2,100 calorie per person per day in urban areas. Okay, they are fixed calorie in a sense. It's the food intake. Okay, you can see. So 2,400 calorie in rural village. Okay, 2,100 in city. Why? What's the reason? The poor people usually they sorry in not poor people in rural area in village people are really hard workers. They will work in they work very physically and very hard works. These people will do. So for them, they definitely they will need they are in need of 2,400 calorie food. So the people, those who are living in or resides in village, they will consume food more than the people, those who are in city. So what about in people's, those who are living in city? So since they are in city, for them it is not possible to work hard like the village people, how they are working in agricultural land, farm land. Okay, the physical and the work money. But here in a city, they will have smart, they need to do smart work and they will do maximum office work. So compared to village people, their physical activity will be less. So their food intake is fixed to 2,100 calories. Fine. The higher calorie intake has been fixed for rural area because rural workers has to do greater physical work compared to all the urban work. So monetary. So this is how. Okay. So if a person who can able to affordable to eat 2,400 calorie per day will be that will be fixed as a poverty line. If they are consuming less than that, you'll consider as a poor in urban. If a person consumes less than 2,400 sorry in rural, if a person consumes less than 2,400 calorie, you will be called as poor. Simultaneously, he consumes 2,400 and above 2,400, he will be called as non-poor. So fine. Again, another. This is the first method. Another method is um, monetary value. Okay. So monetary value in the sense how many rupees is required for a person. You can see. So according to planning commission, that is Tendulkar methodology, the minimum monthly per capita consumption expenditure in 2011 to 12 is worked out 816 per person in rural areas. Okay, that is monthly. Monthly in the year, if 816 rupees is required for a person to consume three meal a day, that is about 2100 calories. Simultaneously, 1000 sorry 816 rural area and 1,000 rupees per month expenditure for a person. I am talking about single person in 2011 to 12 in urban area will be fixed as poverty line. Okay, so what happened? Why in 816 in rural and 1,000 rupees in urban? If you take in rural area, the consumption, the food consumption expenditure is less compared to urban. If a person possible to get a parota for 10 rupees in rural area, is the same parota if you need to buy, if you need to consume in city, it will cost you 20 rupees, minimum 15 20. So what happened? So the uh, compared to rural area, in urban area 1,000 rupees will be fixed as a per person's monthly food expenditure. So poverty line divides the poor from the non-poor. There are many kind of poor, absolutely poor, the very poor, poor. Similarly, there are very various kinds of non-poor, middle class, upper middle class, rich, these are very rich and absolutely rich. The poverty line divides poor from the non-poor. Okay, so this is the line fixed for 816 rupees is required for a normal person, for a single person in rural area. If we get 816, he just this is the 816 rupees. Okay, if he is getting lesser than that, he will be considered as a poor people. This method of determining poverty line is updated over time to take care of changes in price. Yes or no? So they changes in price in the sense 2000 now 21 almost 11 in the sense 10 years back they have done this survey. In 2021, how many rupees required for a person per month for single person? How many rupees? Minimum 2,500, right? 2,500 is required for a consumption. Yes. Are you all following me? Can you able
Yes,
to
sir.
hear me? Abhishek,
Yes, sir.
Sudarshan, Thambi Abhishek, Abhishek,
Sir,
hmm, Darshan Kumar,
sir,
Sudarshan, Thambi Sudarshan.
he's on hold, sir.
Okay, so anyhow, finally we have discussed what is poverty line. So here categorizing poverty. So again, there are three ways. Okay, chronic poor and transient poor, then non-poor. Chronic poor in the sense என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா எப்பவுமே always they will poor. You can see this as a poverty line. Okay, this is the poverty line. The poor people. This graph represents their income. Okay, income of different categories of people. Okay, so their monthly income. Okay, got it. So here the chronic poor in the sense always the people will be under poor. Okay, their income will be always lesser than the poverty line. That category we will call it as chronic poor. The next one is transient poor. So in the transient poor என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கனாக்கா they will be what அவங்களுக்கு their salary will be always a lot of fluctuations. Sometimes their income will be across above the poverty line. Sometimes their income goes under the poverty line. So you can see above the poverty, sometimes they may be in poor. You can take the seasonal workers, seasonal employees. For them, they don't have the regular what incomes. Simultaneously, the transit poor may be classified as churning poor, who regularly move in and out the poverty, like small farmers, and occasionally poor, who rich most of the time and poor sometimes. Okay, you can see some people. You can see a month in the beginning of the month they will be very high. They will get salary and they will live little comfortable. At the end of the month again, they will go back to the same position. So this is how transistent poor and non-poor in the sense. So these people definitely they won't come under the poverty line. Always they'll be poor. These are always they'll be rich. So these are the categories of poverty. Got my point, guys? Am I
Yes,
audible?
sir.
Can you able to understand what I am conveying? Okay, next criticism of poverty line. Criticism in the sense what? Some people they will say the drawbacks. So, what are the drawbacks of this poverty line? We'll discuss one by one. So, the method that is monthly per capita expenditure of determining poverty line is criticized due to the following reasons. First one is the method group of all poor together and does not differentiate between very poor and the other poor. Okay, so they are saying, okay, so you can see this poverty line. So they are saying, so this is what poverty line 816 rupees according to 2011 to 12. Okay, so this line will be called as poverty line. So it is not saying clearly the people those who are earning this much money will be called as very poor, absolutely poor. This kind of differentiation it is not possible to explain properly with the help of poverty line. That is the first criticism. Second one is this mechanism is helpful in identifying poor as a group to be taken care by the government. However, it is very difficult to identify the poor who need most help. Okay, you can see it's a poverty line, and also you can see this one also. So this poverty line, this is poverty line. The chronic poor always we know they are poor. Chances poor sometimes they may be poor, and sometimes occasionally they will be non-poor. And non-poor always above the poverty line. So this line can divide what poor, non-poor. That's it. And also, for example, if patients, okay, you can see we are going to a hospital to consult a doctor. So we are all nearly we need to take a token. We need to wait for our queue. Yeah. So we, according to doctor's point of view, or our other patient point of view, everyone are sick. அவ்வளவுதான் அதுல வந்து whom we need to give first preference யார் வந்து ரொம்ப முடியாம இருக்கா, okay, who are really in need of first aid. For example, some people they may need oxygen, some people they may need enough water, first aid. So everyone is not feeling well. Okay, எல்லாத்துக்கும் உடம்பு சரியில்லை. Okay, fine. So who is really in critical stage? Who is okay? Who can able to manage or adjust that we can't able to identify with the help of poverty line. Okay, that is the second criticism. And third one is there are many factors other than income. Okay, so here they are focused only income. Okay, the people those who are getting 816 in urban area and 1,000 rupees. There is food consumption expenditure. Food 1,000 rupees in sorry 816 in rural and 1,000 in urban. So not only income, based upon income and based upon the calorie intake they made this poverty line. But apart from this, there are many uh, categories are there. You can see the basic education, healthcare, drinking water. So people, those who don't have these categories also will be called as poor. Okay, there are many factors other than income and assets which are associated with the poverty, like accessibility to basic education, healthcare, drinking water, which have been ignored பண்ணிட்டாங்க இங்க where it is here in this poverty line. This method does not consider social factor that generate or and responsible for poverty like illiteracy. Okay, so social factor. So what are the social factors we just for in poverty line we fixed? the money per month calorie intake or else per month capita expenditure இதெல்லாமே தான் நம்ம டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணணும் வெளியே. Apart from that we didn't this poverty line will not didn't discuss about illiteracy, ill health. Some people they may fall sick. Even we might be read this in newspaper. Some I think old movie actress. She was very rich, but after once she got affected with HIV, she can't able to act. She lost her money. Then she was there in temples. Okay, just she was begging in the temple. So not only what the money. So some people they may become poor because of poor health. Some people they may be become poor because of a lack of access to resource, discrimination, like what discrimination in the sense by caste, religion. So all those things also are reasons for a person to become a poor. So this is what called as criticism of poverty line. Criticism or else a drawback of poverty line. Any doubts?
No, sir.
எல்லாரும் இருக்கீங்களா? Are you all there, guys? Mr. Sudarshan? Okay. Can I continue?
Yes, sir.
Is there any decrease in poverty levels? According to government, higher rate of economic growth increase in agriculture production, providing employment in rural areas, and economic reforms of 1991 have resulted decline in poverty level. Okay, so what they are saying, whether the poverty level remains same all over the decades, அதாவது கடந்த வருடங்களை காட்டிலும் இந்த வருஷம் எப்படி இருக்குன்னு பார்த்தோம்னா, yes, the poverty level என்னது declines. Why? Because in 1952, okay, 1950 to 1990, what happened? The government take a lot of steps to overcome poverty to develop our economy, but all those things got failed, somewhat failed. Okay, failures are there. In 1991, after this LPG liberalization, privatization, and globalization, what happened? They started the reforms, economic reforms. Okay, or else Indian economic policy 1991. So that helps a lot of people. Okay. So, however, it is argued by the economists that methodology followed to estimate the poverty line and number of poor are manipulated to arrive all the reduced figure of the number of poor in India. Okay, the poverty falls down. What happened? FDI came to India for indirect investments, then private sectors, then these people gave a lot of job opportunities in both urban, rural, and especially in uh, what industries in the industrial sector in rural areas. Government என்ன பண்ணாங்க in that reforms? They said they will give subsidy if a person open any industry in the economically backward area. They will get subsidy from the government. Second thing is uh, they will get tax concessions and various other benefits. So they have motivated our government also motivated to start what industries in economically backward areas or rural areas. That's how என்னாச்சு poverty கொஞ்சம் கம்மியாச்சு. Moreover, according to them, poverty alleviation scheme, alleviation என்னது ஒழித்தல், வறுமை ஒழித்தல். Okay, how this Kalanyar Karnanidhi's insurance, it's a scheme. Okay, and then Amma Onogam is a scheme. So like that, it is a government scheme, poverty alleviation scheme of government should aim to improve human lives by reducing Obstacle like illiteracy, ill health, lack of access to resources, lack of civil and politician freedoms. A person should be healthy, well nourished, acknowledged, and able to participate in the life of a community. Okay. So what they are saying, the previous years compared to previous years, now slowly we are just overcoming the poverty. But anyhow, we need to reduce the obstacles. Okay, there are a lot of issues in Anaka. Apart from money, poor health, poor education, we don't have what are all the resources we have that it is not possible to access all these things made a person poor. So we need to sort out all those issues and we need to bring back the community with lesser the community, lesser the poverty. The incident of poverty has declined over the years, especially in 80s, but poverty still remain a problem of considered magnitude. Okay, so the government taken a lot of poverty alleviation program, alleviation in the sense, varuமை ஒழித்தல். Okay, like how the government schemes they came up with a lot of schemes to overcome poverty. So not only in India, all the developing country they are facing the same kind of issues, the poverty. Okay, so one best example now I can share here with you, this is that is Singapore. Are you all there, guys?
Yes.
So what happened? We started the session with 15 members. Now only there's 17 members. Now we have only 15. Who left? Vishwanama Keshavan and Sudarshan. Okay, the very good example is Singapore. Do you know when they got independence? Hmm? Am I audible, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So they got independence 9th August 1965. Okay. Next to us now, after we got freedom, after 10, I think nearly 13 years. Okay. So nearly 18 years. After 18 years, they got independence. So during the time, there was nothing economically weak. But now, do you know how they have developed? Hmm? So they developed very massively. We can't find a single person suffering from poverty in Singapore. Okay, Singapore government they are taking a lot of initiativeness and they are helping their country to overcome poverty. Now they have made the world live on the பார்த்தோம்னாக்கா ரொம்ப happiest people those who are living in the world is Singapore, Singaporeans. Okay, they are the person very happy and
England is the happiest country.
ಏನಮ್ಮ
Finland is the most happiest country.
Kenya. Hello?
Finland, sir.
Finland. Yeah, Finland. I am talking அது not only Singapore மட்டும் சொல்லல. There are some countries also. So Finland, Denmark. These are all the people. Those are happiest country. Singapore also become one of the happiest country. I mean, today we are about to discuss, right? Gross national happiness and so on.
Yes, sir.
So that was that we can able to find in Singapore. So that government, whatever their initiative has taken, that really helped them. You can see the images. So this is what in 2017, 1976, the same place in 2015. (1988). So they have developed. So this is 2000 in 2000 and now. So they got independence after 18 years. Now, after we got freedom, and next to us, they started their economy, but they developed massively. Why? Because of what? The government. They didn't what cheat anyone. The people they are very strict. Stick on to their own work. They will not deviate from their work. Such a dedicated persons we can find in Singapore. That's the reason what we can able to see that the country next to us they are the most successful. Do you know one Singaporean dollar in rupees? So that they will call their dollar. Okay, 54 rupees 80 paise, one Singapore dollar. Okay, so such a vast development compared to anyone else. So any doubts, guys? Our country still we are in poverty because of these politicians, because of this corruptions. Still we remains in poverty. Even the Singapore, Singapore is a very little country compared to Coimbatore. It is very small. Compared to a district, more of district regular, not even a state, even a Coimbatore district விட அது சின்னதுதான் அது. Okay, but you can see how they have developed. Okay, fine. So thanks for coming. Have a good day. See you all today evening. We have economics. Yeah. So we will have a chapter LPG full அப்படிதானே? Yes, the entire chapter LPG. So study well. We'll meet at 11:30 session. And evening 6:30 kandipa I want everyone to attend. So please don't skip the session. So thanks for coming. Take care. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.